we bring on Gordon Jones, the father of former Alabama quarterback and 2020 national champion Mac Jones. Gordon, how you feeling, man? Happy to have you back, brother.
I'm doing great, Stephen. How about yourself?
Doing fantastic, fantastic. So, Gordon, first and foremost, right here, everyone talks about, Mac, the arm talent, or Mac, the preparation, but we saw Mac Jones, the athlete, at Pro Day. A 32-inch vertical, a strong broad jump, ran a 4.68 40. Young man was moving. So, can you just speak to how proud were you to see Mac show the pro scouts, hey, I'm a legit athlete?
I was real proud of Mac. I mean, I think I knew all along that he had those skills. He just didn't have to use them in the offense that they were implementing there at Alabama. But, I was proud of him to show out and to put some of the haters to bed and let them know that, Mac can run if he has to. And, he runs at a good clip for a quarterback. And, I thought his numbers were great. Of course, after listening to Mr. Tang and watching Patrick II run and see his physical specimen out there, I just feel like maybe you should just put him back on the line and let's let him talk some more for a few minutes. I mean, his son looked great out there at Pro Day. I mean, it was just he was a specimen, and he's been a great team member the whole time he's been at Alabama, and kind of a role model for Mac in terms of how to prepare for games. And we're really proud to have had him on the team, and I think everybody will see him play at the next level at a very, very high level. So that's great, and I think that Mac did what he needed to do. I think that's the advantage and why he decided to do the Pro Day was, to let people know that he isn't just a statue in the pocket, and that he can run if the play calls for him to run. I always, when people talk to me about that, I have a funny analogy, and that's kind of saying, like, let's say you have an autograph bat by Hank Aaron, and you've got it in your closet, and you're going out to play baseball. You're not going to bring your Hank Aaron bat out and smack it around the field unless that's the only bat you got left in your bag. And if that's the case, then you'll bring it out and try to make hits with it. And I think that's true kind of with Mac. I mean, I think Mac can run, and if at the next level he plays an offense that requires him to run more, then it's been his whole persona all along is to kind of continue to develop, and he'll develop into the style of quarterback that the offense of whatever team that drafts him. And but I think it's important for people to be able to see that kind of the raw numbers is that he can do it if that's what the offense calls for, or that's what the offensive coordinator wants him to do. So I was proud of him from that standpoint, and obviously we all know he can throw great. I mean, he's got a 13-game body of work that was just incredibly excellent. And, I don't think there's any point during any game where I would have thought, Mac should have run it there. So really the opportunities, because I think they were operating the offense at such a high level that he didn't have to run a lot. And the plays didn't call for him to run, and it wasn't necessary for him to run. I think, if he plays for a different offense and it requires that he carry the ball a little bit more, I think, he's game for it, and he's ready to go forward and show to people that he can do that too.
Now, of course, Gordon, we are joined here by Gordon Jones live on the show, father of 2020 national championship quarterback Mac Jones. So many people, they look at the Trevor Lawrences in this draft, and Trevor Lawrence is a big-time player in this draft. They look at the Justin Fields, the Trey Lance, the Zach Wilson out of BYU. But just in this pro day, watching Mac, go through the measurables, but then get him on the field, and he's hitting on every single ball. I think he probably had maybe one overthrow out of 60 passes, but he's hitting on every ball. He's showing you, I can move my feet, I can avoid pressure, I can spin around, I can make all these different maneuvers, but still create and make every throw on the field. Just watching him do that, what do you think he told pro scouts in? Yes, I know you guys are talking about the Lawrences and the Fields and other guys, but I'm just as good, if not better, than all of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think the measurables was one that he wanted to accomplish to show that he could run at a certain speed, and his verticals and all that were well within the top part of the quarterback class, and that passing wise, I think, obviously he has a body of work for 13 games that anybody can watch if they really want to see how he plays. And I think what he wanted to bring to Pro Day was kind of moving around and throwing on the move, just because there wasn't necessarily a lot of opportunities to do that during the season. So I think he was able to show that. And, I think there's credit to the guys that went out there and ran the routes. I mean, you had a couple tight ends, and you had Slade, and then you had converted linebacker out there running routes. So sometimes I think it's a little bit harder for him to get his timing down with those folks. But, part of being an Alabama player, I think, is not being afraid of competition and kind of going out and saying, hey, I'm going to go out and do what I have to do and show people that I'm willing to compete on a daily basis. And I know that people opt out of these type of things, or the Senior Bowl or whatever. And, obviously we had some guys that were injured that didn't participate, but, they also have great bodies of work for the whole season to kind of show. And I think Mac wanted to add something to the body of work that he had produced during the season and say, hey, if you're worried about how fast I am, let me show you. If you're worried about whether I can throw in the run, let me show you that. If you're worried about my arm strength, let me show you that too. So I think he was trying to add to that kind of 13-game body of work, and I think he did accomplish that. And we have another Pro Day coming up, and we'll hopefully see some additional things being added to his repertoire. So, he's the type of person that, and he's been this way all along. And I think it really speaks to why he was at Alabama, is that he wasn't afraid of competition, and he also came knowing that he wanted to improve, and he was going to do the things necessary to get better and to put himself in a position where he could help the team. And obviously he did a great job doing that. And I think when he moves up to the next level, he's going to be the same Mac Jones. I mean, he's going to go on, and if they want him to start, he's going to be ready to start. If they want him to back up somebody for a year to learn the system or be in a supporting role, he's going to do whatever the team requires him to do. And at the same standpoint, he's going to be adding to his skill set, on a daily basis, because I think that's really the Alabama way. I mean, that's why one of the great things about Alabama is you come here, and if you're willing to improve, all the resources are here, all the players are here. And when it was interesting to hear Mr. Surtain, because I think the same thing that's different that people don't really realize. When you play at Alabama, you're playing under the brightest lights, the most scrutiny, with the most criticism, and you're when you get done at Alabama, and probably it's one of a few schools I would be willing to say that you're NFL ready. I mean, some of these guys, they're playing at very small schools. They're playing competition against guys that aren't as good. They might be great quarterbacks or have great skills, and that it does translate into the NFL. But it's a different atmosphere, and it's going to be a different atmosphere for them in the NFL. And I think that every game that Alabama played, it's the opponent's biggest game of the year. So there's no resting on your laurels or going in and going, we're just going to wait for these guys to give it to us, because nobody wants to give it to us. Everybody wants the upset against Alabama. So you're used to being prepared every single game for the best that the opposing team can provide you. And I think the other thing that Mr. Surtain said that was really, really true is that, who are you throwing against? Who are you practicing against? These guys are practicing against guys that are going to be in the NFL. I mean, when Mac was down on the practice squad, he's thrown against the defensive backs that are in the NFL now. And who else gets that experience? I mean, at other schools, there's a couple, but certainly not some of these smaller schools and smaller programs or less renowned programs. I mean, there's teams that played, one good game a year, and they probably didn't even win it. So how is that going to translate into the next level? I don't know. Maybe they're good enough to make the transition, but certainly haven't been tested like you're going to be tested when you play at Alabama, either through games or practice.
He's Gordon Jones, ladies and gentlemen, father of Mac Jones, Alabama National Championship quarterback in the 2020 season, who had an outstanding pro day in his own right, and looking forward to seeing who drafts Mac. And from after drafting Mac, looking forward to seeing the young man have a great, huge career in the NFL. Mr. Gordon, we appreciate you coming on, taking time out of your day to be with us. You take care. Stay safe, my man. Be good.
Steve, you keep doing the great job you're doing, and the same as Mr. Sertain. You know, we're Alabama fans in and out. We're going to be following the program. I think they're going to have another great year, and you know, we're just going to continue to ride the train as it goes down and pull off another national championship with these new guys. So we're looking forward to it, and we'll talk to you again once we get Mac in the NFL and get him going. That would be great.
Absolutely. Appreciate Mr. Gordon Jones here joining us live on the show to talk with Mac Jones and the great pro day that he had. Well, folks, 2 outstanding guests. I told you, people. Told you. We got the guests right here. We got the guests. We got the players. We got what you need here. We take a break right now on the show. As always, continue to hit that thumbs up, give a like on the show, hit that subscribe button, turn all of those notifications on so that way we can continue getting you the Bama coverage. Upon our return, we get back into a dialogue with you, the Alabama fans, after this. Thank you for watching Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. To continue to get the best in Alabama football content, subscribe here and turn on your notifications to stay connected with the hottest shows covering your Crimson Tide.